Hi, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Talk Truth, and welcome to my channel, your channel, or channel, Women Healing Together. This is the channel that we deal with all things women, from health, whether it be mental health, we deal a lot with child abuse, sexual abuse, and how women can cope. If it relates to a woman, then we cover it here on this channel. So please, if this is a channel that you feel is adding value to your life and other women in your life, whether you are a man or you are a woman, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We would love to have you as a part of the WHT family. Welcome again to Talk Truth. Talk Truth is the live virtual show that is aired on the Women Healing Together channel. Talk Truth is your safe space and your safe place where we tackle the issue of childhood sexual abuse and help women who are on their road of healing and recovery. So, welcome again. Now, as we did a few months ago. Was it a few months ago? Yes, a few months ago, actually. We had a special bonus section where we dealt with domestic abuse, and so many persons contacted me via Instagram, via our Facebook page, Women Healing Together, via our Instagram page, Women Healing Together, and in our email at womenhealingtogether@gmail.com. Some persons even WhatsApp me to say, Pops, and there needs to be a part two of that episode. And today we're making that happen. We are going to be delving into part two of that episode of this issue of domestic abuse, or otherwise known as intimate partner violence. And our topic for this evening is getting out and staying out. Getting out and staying out, reminding you to subscribe and hit that notification bell. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, my name is Pops and Francis. And for those of you who are regular, a part of the WHT family, thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your kindness. Every time you watch, whether it be live or the recording, every time you share on your status or on your social media page, you really help to bring this message all across the world. So thank you again for all our genuine and loyal supporters who are not just word of mouth supporters, but those who are serious about helping other women find healing and find joy in a life that can be full of trauma. Now, let's get into it. We're going to be bringing on very live now Tamara Hylton. So let's wait for her to come on. We are excited to have her one more time on Talk Truth. Is she in studio? Yes, no, maybe so. Not hearing from my studio engineer. All right, so Tamara Hylton is going to be our guest for today. She is a musician, award-winning musician, as a matter of fact, and she's also an educator, a survivor of domestic abuse. And we are happy to have her. I'm not sure what's happening in terms of the technical aspect of it. I'm not seeing her come on camera. So let's see what's happening here. Either way, the show must continue. All right. Maybe my studio engineer can let me know what's happening. I'm not sure what's happening in the background as it relates to Tamara. I know she's scheduled to be on for 8 with us. Let's see. All right, so again, if you're joining us, our topic for this evening is getting out and staying out. What can women do to ensure that they escape domestic abuse and live to tell the tale? And even more important, how can they ensure that they stay out of that toxic abusive relationship without heading back? So we're waiting on Tamara. I'm just going to ask you to excuse me for a brief moment while I get my other devices. Unlike us here at Talk Truth, but just a moment, please. All right, sorry about that, WHT family. Our guest is running a little late. Just got in contact with her, and she says she'll be on in the next 2 minutes. So we can definitely have a conversation as we wait on her, right? We're just about to have a change of plans, yeah? Because I'm always prepared, right? I try to be, not always, but I try to be. So I was just about to shift gear and just move right along, right? With another interesting topic that I have actually been preparing for another video, one of our videos that we would post not alive, right? So we will give her 2 minutes for her to come on again. I apologize for the technical issue and in terms of the guest being late. Things happen, and life happens, right? life life happens, life happens. So again, we are discussing getting out and staying out of domestic abuse. And of course, if you have anything to share, if you have any suggestions about how people can get out, then definitely let us know. So Tamara has joined us, and
Hey.
we are happy to have you. Thank you so much for coming on. Are you hearing? Are you
I'm
hearing me
hearing you.
clearly?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay. All right, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be with us this evening. All
Oh,
right.
certainly. It's a pleasure.
As always, as always.
Yes. Yes.
So just we, as I was saying before, Tamara Hylton has been a guest on Talk Truth before, where she has shared her story, and
Yes.
we are now focusing on how did she get out and how has she stayed away from that situation, because so many women feel as if they can't get out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so many persons have gotten out and have
Right.
returned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little recap. If you have not seen part one, please you need to go and watch that. I will put that in the description below, so you can definitely watch that. And it's also on our Talk Truth playlist on Women
Right.
Healing Together channel. So you can
Mm-hmm.
definitely check that out. But for a recap, Tamara shared with us that 2 months into her marriage, being married to a pastor, that she became a victim of
Mm-hmm.
intimate partner violence, and how really catastrophic it was. And she never
Right.
saw herself in that victim mindset. Is
Mm-hmm.
there anything else, Tamara, that you'd like to share, just as a synopsis, though we want to delve into the getting out and the staying out?
Right. So good evening, everybody. Really so good to be here again. It's been a long day, Popson. So, it's been moving from one thing to the other for the entire day, but it's really a pleasure just to be here. So when we spoke the last time, I pretty much just shared my experience of what happened and what the experience was like. Of course, as you mentioned, it wasn't something easy to deal with, right? It certainly could have, ended up with me being dead, or even the other person being dead. Because in situations like those, listeners and viewers, it's never a case where you, as the person being abused, just sit down and take it. I mean, there are persons who will just sit down and take it. But as Jamaican women, we're not just going to sit and take it. We're going to retaliate. And for me, guys, being in a situation like that and retaliating, it makes your abuser become even more violent, right? And they are gonna give it to you even harder than they did in the initial stage. And I always say to people, if you find yourself in a situation like that, you do not want to fight with your abuser. What you want to do is to get yourself away from that situation. You want to get out. And I tell people, retaliating, fighting back is only going to make things worse for you. So the best thing that you can do, guys, is to get yourselves out of the situation. If it means, and as Jamaican, we have this saying that when your hand is in a lion's mouth, you take your time and take your hand out. That is the best thing that you can do. Take time, take your hand out of lion's mouth.
Thank you so much, Tamara. And that's sound words, because some persons who have never been in that situation,
Yeah.
they would say, "Oh, she idiot," or
Mhm,
him, because
mhm,
men
mhm.
are victims too of
Right,
intimate partner
right.
violence. They're
Mhm,
so stupid. If it were me, then I would be fighting and all of
mhm.
that. But to be in the story and outside as a
Yes,
third party, it's totally, totally,
totally different, totally
totally.
different. And I have to say to Popson, being the person that I was, and then, because I believe that I have evolved so much over the years, and since that experience, I was not the kind of person who thought that I would have ended up in a situation like that. I mean, I didn't see myself as being a weakling or a woman who you can easily walk over. No, I'm not that kind of woman. I've never been that kind of person, even from a child growing up. So to find myself in a situation like that, where I was being abused, where I was being hit. Yes, physical abuse, guys. I'm not talking about somebody just saying something to me to hurt. I'm talking about physical abuse, right? To find myself in a situation like that, it was something for it literally put my body into shock. My mind
Mhm.
went into shock and my body went into shock. It's as though I started operating on an autopilot mode for the time that I was in that relationship. I was not myself, because I tell you guys that my body instantly went into shock, because I just didn't expect that something like this would have happened to somebody like me, the kind of person that I perceived myself to be at that time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's another. We spoke about the last time when we met, and Donna was here with us. We spoke about some of the myths, and we see them
Yeah.
coming back as you're
Yeah.
talking, where persons
Mhm.
say, "Oh, only introverted persons become abusers,
Mhm.
become abused rather."
Mhm.
If you
And
are
that's not true.
extroverted, if
Yes,
you are
exactly.
a strong woman, then there's
Mhm.
no way you will fall victim to that. And we're here to just talk the truth and mash
Right.
down mash down that lie.
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
and as you're talking too, the last episode we had Dr. Courtney Dookie, who is a
Mhm.
mind expert, and a few weeks
Right.
before that we had his wife Sanya, and they
Okay.
were talking about the fact that when you would go into that mode where you said your body was in shock, it's basically
Mhm.
the limbic system or the limbic part of the brain that takes
Right.
charge, and you're
Wow.
in survival mode. And
Right.
that
Yes.
means some people fight, some
Mhm.
people retaliate,
Mhm.
some
Mhm.
people just shrink because
Mhm.
whatever it takes to survive.
Right.
The,
Right.
the big question is, and our first real question, because we're
Mhm.
really just having a very organic conversation, is
Right.
what was
Right.
the turning point for you?
What was
What
the
was that
turning? What was the
point, or
turning point?
were
Yeah.
there multiple points? What was that? You said, "This is it. I have
So
to
so the
go."
turning point for me, guys, the turning point was for me was actually when there was some separation. At the point when I turned, there was some separation. So my ex-partner then had moved to the States, and I was living in Jamaica still at the time, and we had a child. right? So before he left, the baby was born. He left when my son was maybe about a year or somewhere about there. He wasn't there for his second birthday, I remember. So when my son was 2 plus, he came back to visit us. So even though all of that was happening, guys, the relationship was still going on. He left. We were still communicating on the phone. I was still holding on to the marriage. And I would imagine that he too was holding on to the marriage. And I have to say, no, guys, I am sharing this experience and I am in no way trying to villainize, I think that's the
Mhm.
word, this
Yes.
individual, because I'm sure there are persons now watching this program. They know me personally, or you may know of whom I'm speaking, right? And I'm not in any way trying to villainize the person because, as I said before, guys, this is the father of my child. And I'm not going to put information out there that later on my son is going to see and that it's going to create a negative impact on his thinking, right? So I'm still being very careful, even with the things that I say, even now. So going back now to that turning point. So he was in the States and he came back to visit us, right? And somehow, an argument developed. To be honest with you, I can't remember if he hit me at that time, guys. I really can't remember. But I remember I was crying, but something happened. I was crying. He was out of the room. I was crying. And my son at 2 plus, guys. This is a
Mhm.
turning point I'm telling you about. My son at 2 plus, he came and he said, Mommy, you okay? I said, Mommy, Daddy hurt you. That's what my
Wow.
son said to me, guys. My son, Mommy, Daddy hurt you. I said, Mommy, I won't let Daddy hurt you again. My
Oh,
two
wow.
plus year old son said that to me. And people, I'm telling you, even to this day, this child is so protective of me, even though he's 9 now, right? And this child is so, and that, guys, was a turning, was a break. That was a straw for me because I was still holding on. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Where
Mhm.
my son, and I said, no, Tamara, there's no way you can allow your son to have this kind of experience growing up. So it's best if you go your separate ways. Yeah. So that
Wow.
was that was a turning point for me.
Wow. Out of the mouth of
Not a
babes.
boo. Oh
And
yes. Yes.
wow, so
Yes.
so
Hmm.
perceptive.
Oh yes. Hmm.
So that was a turning point,
Yes.
Tamara. How did you go about planning your exit strategy then? How
All
did
right.
you go about
So basically, guys, I never necessarily had to plan an exit strategy because, as I said before, this person had moved away from Jamaica to the States, right? There were some things that like happened before, right, where he had, he had gone to spend some time at his parents' place until eventually, he moved to the States and so on, right? So I never necessarily had to plan an exit strategy because I was pretty much, away from this person, right? And I
it?
think that's one of the things you have to do when you are in an abusive situation. You have to distance yourself, right? Even if you are considering to stay with this person, you have to distance yourself until you get help, until this person gets help, right? And so he was away. I got a job in another country. Good. And I remember I did not when he left from us, like about 3 or so months before I'd gotten this job, we didn't hear from him, right? We didn't hear from him like, for a couple of months, we didn't hear from him, right? And I don't think we didn't hear from him because he was not able to call, but it was his choice. He didn't reach out to us. So I got this job. I moved to another country, right? And while I remember when I just got here, he called, right? He called me to say, "Oh, I am coming to be with you guys." And I'm like,
Oh,
absolutely not. No, you are not, right? You are not coming to be with us, right? And I pretty much had to find some way to just cut off all connections at that time because I know that if I had said yes, he would have very much been here with us, right? And it was just from there, we had, a number of battles, even from that moment on, and it's just been pretty much a battle ever since, right? I mean, I've learned no, not because like no, and he will call to speak with his son, and I don't have a conversation with him. I let him talk to his son because I'm not gonna be the one to say, all right, you will not have an opportunity to speak with your child. If you don't want to do it, then it's your business. That is your choice. But I will make it make a way for
Yeah.
you to contact him because
Yeah.
I can't change the fact that you are the father, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, and for those who are listening, what I'm hearing you say, Tamara, is that there are some persons who may have to plan a physical exit
Yes. Oh
strategy.
yes. Definitely will have
Some
to.
may have to do that.
Oh
In
yeah.
your situation, you never
Mhm.
had to plan a physical exit
Yes.
strategy, but you
Mhm.
still had to have an exit strategy.
Oh
And I
yes.
think that was more emotional
Mhm.
and mental. You had to
Yes.
make a decision. Am
Mhm.
I am I
Yes,
interpreting
I
that
had to make a
correctly?
decision because at that point when I moved to this other country, and funny enough, guys, the job that I got, they were providing transportation for your entire family, your husband, your wife, or your wife, whatever, and your children to come into the country. They would have paid this plane fare to come here, right? They were providing housing for us and all of that at the time. So they would have covered him coming here, right? And I just had to really just tell myself that tomorrow, if you are gonna heal, and I tell you guys, at that time, I was bitter, I was hurting, I was broken, right? I was in a bad state. And so there's no way I could have opened up myself for him to come and be with us because I know it was going to be even more problems. The problems would have continued. And we had not taken any step to say, let us rectify these problems. It was going to even get worse than it was before. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Ellis says you had to muscle up
I
your
had to muscle
mind.
up my mind.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
So
had to
there,
muscle up my
I think
mind.
I'm sorry. I think there are some women who are watching, and
Yes.
sisters, you may be saying, "Oh, I'm separated." Oh, Tanisha says, "Hello, WHT family, late, but
Mhm.
I'm here. Welcome, Tanisha.
Yes. Hello.
Always have to have you."
Mhm. Yes.
So I think we can post this as a talk truth nugget.
Oh, yes.
When you are in an abusive situation, there will be an exit strategy.
Yes.
It may not be physical because you
Yes.
may have been separated, but
Exactly.
there has to be a mental and
Yes.
emotional exit
Yes.
strategy so
Yes.
that the abuser does not weasel his way
Hmm.
in or
Hmm.
her way in to cause further
Right.
damage.
Right. Right. Exactly.
How did you how did you feel? What was your state of mind when
Hmm.
you realized Ellie says happy you
Oh,
got that
yes. It
exit route?
was.
She said,
Yes.
how did you feel? What was your state of mind when you realized, okay, he's abroad, that's fine, but I am no longer in Jamaica. He doesn't know
Hmm.
my address. He doesn't
Right.
know where to. How did you feel at that time when you're like, me finally, I'm continuing my life? What was that for
You
you?
know what? There was a sense of relief. There was a sense of relief, guys. But also, there was some amount of desire of
Mm-hmm.
wanting to be with this person, right? And I know, guys, people will probably stone me for saying something
We
like
don't
that,
care. They can
right?
talk anything they want to talk, Tamara. We
Yes,
don't business
and
with them. This is your
I tell you,
story.
Popson, that a lot of people, unless you have been in it, guys, you really just don't understand fully. You will have some amount of empathy and sympathy towards individuals who have been in abusive situations, but unless you have experienced it, I kid you not, guys, it is something that is beyond your comprehension. Because even though, yes, I was happy to be away, there was some part of me that wanted, and I tell you guys, it's not something that only happened then. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that has happened to me over the years, where there was a sense of, I wish that, things would have worked out. I wish that, there is some kind of feeling like, you want to be with this person still, because especially when you share something like a child,
Yeah.
That's a part of you. That's the two of you coming together right there to create a human being, right? So I had that feeling. But then also, on the other hand, there was also that need to say, Tamara, you have to stay away from this person, and you have to find some way to get away from this person. You have to find some way now to let this person know that, listen, I no longer want to be with you. I don't want to be with you no more. I don't want to talk with you no more. I'm no longer interested in you. So you find yourself now struggling between these emotions. All right, me wanting to be with you, and I'm fighting because I know that being with you is not the best thing for me. So let me not even think about it. So yes, guys, that was a struggle that I faced with. And I can tell you this, I believe that is a struggle that many women who have been in abusive situations, that is a struggle that they even face even now, because you know this person is no good for you, right? But because in some way this person would have met some of your needs, would have met some of your desires, you're feeling that, hey, I want to be with this person. And let me just share something with you guys, and I'm going to be really personal with you right now. I don't know if I shared this with you the last time, but one of the things that happened in the relationship, this person was constantly accusing me of cheating, right? Even though there was nothing like that, guys, right? I'm not saying that I didn't have friends that I like talk with on my phone and so on, right? But this person was always accusing me of cheating. And I remember, one time it said to me, why you don't let those people get married to you, or none of them wanted to marry you, but I'm the one who marry you, and what have you? He said something like that to me, right? And guys, over the years, because after 10 years, I'm still not yet married. I've had that feeling like, I probably should have stayed with him, because he was the one who married me. He was the one who got married to me. He was the one who, proposed to me. We had a nice wedding. We had all of that. So an individual, as a human, guys, those are feelings that I've had to overcome. Those are things that I've had to deal with over the years, to say, tomorrow, because somebody marry you doesn't mean that the person love you, right? Anybody else could have done it. And because you haven't remarried yet, it doesn't mean that you will never find love and marry again. Because getting over, guys, those are things, those are emotions, those are thoughts that you will have to deal with in the process of getting over.
Yeah. It, it's like the the familiar, the
Yes.
familiar
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
you want more, and
Yes.
it happens. I think it happens to all of us as we struggle with
Yes.
different things,
Mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
trauma may present itself in various ways, but at the
Yes.
root of it, we
Mm-hmm,
see, I call it the paradox of trauma. As I'm
mm-hmm,
listening to you
mm-hmm,
and just digesting and
mm-hmm.
processing what you're saying, and that
Right.
is why persons can become so judgmental
Mm-hmm,
of
mm-hmm.
other persons, and they
Right.
don't have any idea. Some
Exactly.
persons will say how
Exactly.
ridiculous it is that you're
Mhm,
being abused, but you are
mhm.
you are still having this desire to be with the
Exactly.
person.
Exactly.
How is it that alcohol as addiction has
Yes.
caused you to lose your family, but you still want it? And
Right.
how is it that you were sexually abused, but you have become promiscuous?
Promise.
Because trauma affects us in
It
various
does.
ways.
It
And
rewires the brain. My niece Camille, she would
completely.
always say that trauma rewires the brain. It does.
Yeah,
It does.
it does, and the
Mm-hmm.
body keeps the score. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm loving? Okay, Tanisha says, Atamara, kind of like the same relationship we share with a lot of things. Tanisha is agreeing. They
Yeah.
are no good for us, but we still
Mm-hmm.
crave them knowingly.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
not like we don't want to move
Mm-hmm.
on,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you know what my aim is, Tamara, with what you
Yes.
have shared with us
Mhm.
thus far, is that someone will listen, and please feel free to comment, uh,
Yes.
put your comments in the comment section below, that
Yes.
I hope that we have more sympathy
Yes.
towards persons who are
Yes.
victims of
Mm-hmm.
intimate partner violence, because
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
not easy.
Not easy. It is not. It is not. It is
It's
not.
not easy
Yes.
at all. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. See,
Ellie
can
says,
you put it there?
"Trump,
It
go ahead."
rewires your brain. It rewires your brain. It certainly does. It
Yeah.
certainly does. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something that you have been doing, Popson, about healing the child in you. And I think, especially as women who have gone through abuse, it is something that we need to look at. Is there something in your past or in your childhood? I mean, personally, I've not been able to be able to dig into such and to really see if there's something in my childhood that would have caused me to end up in a situation like that, right? Because really, I can't recall ever experiencing abuse as a child, right? But maybe something was there. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe something is there. And one of the things that I promised myself that I would do, before I venture into marriage again, right, is I'm gonna spend some time with a therapist just to really dig into my past, dig into my childhood, to see if there is something that made me so vulnerable in that
Yeah.
relationship, that I would have, become so weakened by abuse. Because I can tell you this, guys, I was so weakened by that situation. I literally lost myself. I literally lost myself just being in that relationship. I remember I went to work one day, and I was teaching at Happy Grove at the time, and a teacher said to me, "You have lost the light in your eyes." That was what he
Wow.
said to me. And every now and again, Facebook would show me a picture of myself back then, and I can tell you this, guys, I look absolutely nothing during that time, like even like how I look now or before. I literally lost the light in my eyes during those few
Mm.
years I was with that person.
Mm.
Literally, yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
I'm uh, Tamara, I applaud you. I applaud you. I applaud whomever was your support system.
Mhm.
Some persons may say, oh, she got pregnant in the
Mhm.
relationship. How could she? But
Yeah.
I'm also happy for the fact that
Mhm.
your son came,
Oh yeah,
because the Lord
he's
used
been a
it as a
blessing.
turning point.
Oh yeah,
I'm
and
I'm
he's
celebrating
he's
you
been my
extremely.
blessing. He's been my blessing, and I have absolutely no regrets about having that child. That child, being the product of that relationship. Absolutely no regrets. He's been when I tell you, he sustains me. I mean, God is my sustainer,
Right.
but through through him, he sustains me. He helps to keep me grounded, keeps me focused. And I was able to rewire my brain from that trauma by having my baby. Even from during my pregnancy, this baby became, while he was in my womb, guys, he became my purpose, my reason for living. So God had to give that to me. That's how I survive.
Praise
Right.
God.
Yeah.
Ellie says, and I believe
Mhm.
this is directed at you. She says,
Yeah.
and it's all caps, so she's shouting
Yeah.
it out. You're not weak.
We. Yeah.
Abuse, trauma is
Oh
powerful.
yeah.
They will tear you
Oh
down,
definitely.
steal your soul, and
Hmm.
your will to live. That is
Wow.
correct, Ellis.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And
It
when
really
we,
does. It really does take away your will to live. And let me tell you something, guys. So it would have been 10 years ago that I went through that situation. 10 years ago, this time, guys, 10 years ago, I was traveling between Kingston and Portland, heading into Kingston for counseling sessions. That is what I was doing 10 years ago, right?
yeah,
And 1 month later, what date is today? Today is the 10
the,
or
today
12
is
days
the third.
later from today, 12 years later from today, that was when I got pregnant with my son. You all know what day that is. I was trying to make up and trying
Yeah,
to fix that
yeah.
situation on Valentine's Day. That's when I got hit. That's when I got pregnant with my son. Yeah.
Mhm. We have, oh, the comments are coming in. Tanisha said, maybe it's not the ending of Tamara, but the staying. Society, through family and friends, have taught us to stay because of what leaving may look like, with no
Yeah.
regard for
Oh
how
yeah.
the affected
Oh
feels.
yeah. That was a big factor for me, Tanisha. It was a big factor because as Tanisha mentioned before, we were a pastoral family, right? And I remember even on Sabbaths going to church and still have to put on this facade and wearing my broad brim hat and just being the pastor's wife, right? And guys, in saying this, let me tell you something. Your childhood has a lot to do with you as an individual too, right? Because when I did some research and so on afterwards, I realized that his father was like that, but his father died when he was very young. So he pretty much grew up without the guidance of his father, right? And sometimes as a mother, being a single mother, I get concerned even about my son. I become a little bit worried about him, but I'm praying and doing my best to make sure that I raise him as best as I can, guys, right?
Great.
And I pray and I hope that wherever he is at this moment, that he would seek and get some help also, right? Because it's really just what happened during childhood, I think maybe somewhat affected him, right? So
Yeah.
because nobody's born bad. Let's say that.
Right. Right.
Psychologists talk about the nurture versus nature, and they have that whole debate. I don't think anybody was born to be an abuser or to become a narcissist or whatever it is. It is only through childhood experiences and what they are taught and so on, or what they are allowed to do and so on. That's how they develop that kind of nature. And at the end of the day, guys, I just really hope that he too would seek to
Yeah.
get help, even as I tried to rebuild and get my help over the years, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
As you spoke just now, and I'm listening to you very intently, and as I said, I'm processing, it begs the question, and I think this is a talk truth treasure. This is
Mhm.
a question that we all have to answer, especially those who have children. Are you growing an abuser?
Whew.
Are
Trust
you
me,
preparing a little boy or a little
girl.
girl to inflict pain and
Mhm,
trauma on
mhm,
other people?
mhm,
For
mhm,
though we are shielded by childhood,
mhm,
when we are adults and we have that capacity to really choose the way we want to
mhm,
choose,
mhm,
what
mhm,
will you be
mhm.
unleashing from your home?
Girl, let me tell you something. And I'm just going to be vulnerable right now. It's something that I worry, literally worry about. I probably have nightmares about it because I said, Lord, please, may I beg you,
Yeah.
make my son come and be anything like that. I beg him. I said, Lord, please, please, Lord, please. And especially, not having that father figure around, while raising him, it's very concerning for me. Very concerning. It is a deep concern. Yeah.
And I want to just thank you for sharing that and for being brave and strong,
Mhm,
just being vulnerable and putting that out there, because I believe that there are so many women like
mhm,
you who have that concern. They may not
mhm,
have uttered it, but
mhm,
they do
mhm.
worry when they're alone
Yeah.
at night. And
Mhm,
we're just putting it out there to you and to other women who are
mhm,
listening as well, that at WHT we have a large network. And
mhm,
you
mhm.
know this. We
Yep.
have a large network.
Mhm,
All the
mhm,
persons who have come on the show, they are willing and able. We talk
mhm.
about in the spiritual realm, we talk
Yeah.
about generational curse,
Mhm,
and we
mhm,
believe
mhm.
that through the power of God it
Yes.
can be broken.
Yes.
And we also believe that God has gifted his children in the area of psychology,
Yes.
in the area of mental
Mhm,
health, to help us
mhm.
groom and grow our children. So you're
Right,
not alone when
right.
that is concerned. We are
Mm.
sure of that.
Thank you,
We
honey.
are sure of
Thank
that.
you.
You're
Wow.
most welcome.
Mm.
As we close off this evening, I enjoy talking with you. You're
Oh,
so
yes.
authentic.
Wow. The time is
So
out already? Oh,
yes,
wow.
you're
Oh,
so authentic, and I'm happy that you
wow.
are here. Albeit you come late, but we understand.
I think we're gonna have to have a part 3. We can't end on this. We have, oh my word,
But we're
we
not
haven't
ending it.
dived
We're not
into this
ending it.
question yet, man.
The, the, the,
We keep going over, just the tip of the iceberg.
yes, that's okay. We're not ending just yet. Just closing off. We're getting
Right,
there.
right.
You shared with us how you got out. You shared with us, you added a great perspective that it's not just a physical escape, but
Yes,
an emotional and mental
yes.
escape. You
Hmm.
shared with us that though persons may be physically away and they're trying to mentally escape from their abuser, that there will be times when you have a longing to go back because it's the familiar place. So
Hmm.
the big question is you never went back.
Hmm.
Why? What are the things or the thing that kept you from staying out? So you got out, but how
Yes.
did you stay out?
How did I stay out? All right. So a number of factors, guys, would have contributed to me staying out. Number one, distance, right? And the fact that, we are in two different places, right? And that's one of the things, sometimes, guys, I know you may be saying that, well, I can't get away. I can't move from my home. I'm even living in the same home with this person, right? But you have to find some way to distance yourself from this individual. You have to distance yourself. So that's the first thing for me. The second thing, I refocused on myself. I now put Tamara Hylton into the mirror and I look at myself and say, Tamara, who are you? Is this what you want to be? Is this a person that you want to be? Do you want to continue being angry, being mad, being bitter? And I'm going to share my two favorite lines with you right now, guys. You cannot be bitter and better at the same time. You cannot be a victim and a victor at the same time. So I had to make up my mind, Tamara, what do you want to do? I had to tell myself that, Tamara, you are going to now have to work on being better. You have to move away from the victim mentality because you're no longer being abused. You are now have to start operating like you are a victor. You
Yes,
are an overcomer, right?
yes,
You are not just merely a survivor. You didn't, you listen, you are a winner. You are powerful. You have, I mean, I know how to dig deep, guys, within me and refocus on myself. I had to, go back to the drawing board for me and say,
yes,
Tamara, who do you want to be? Right? You have somebody to live for. No, you are no longer living for yourself. You have a child who needs to be properly cared for, and somebody who is emotionally broken, who is messed up, who is so battered and bruised,
yes,
cannot take care of a child. And I'm not saying, guys, that there are not some scars and there are not some, I mean, maybe there are wounds that probably didn't heal immediately. It took years, right? And so I just really had to just tell myself, take myself away from the victim mentality and just put my place now into a place of growth. I had to get a different mindset, right?
yes,
And so I did a number of things. So one, I went back to school, right? So this gave me an opportunity to grow and to build on me, right? I started doing my workout, and those of you who follow me on Facebook, you would see that I've been doing this workout for a number of years now, maybe not consistently, but I've been doing that. I started reading a lot. Like I
mhm,
started reading some powerful books. There's this author that I follow, right? And she has some powerful two books, right? That I read that really helped me to take my mind out of the rut. One about it says successful women think differently, and the other one was successful women speak differently, right? And I think it was from one of those books, the whole quote that you cannot be a victim and a victor at the same time. And I really just started changing my mindset. I really just started living, guys, right? And just coming into a new environment, to people, I was able to meet different people. I was able, I came here, I met family, I met Camille is my family, Camille is my niece, and just, having people surround me, they became my family, they became my community. They gave the love, they gave the support, right? And it just really made a difference for me, guys, just being in a different environment. So those were just some of the things that I did just to help me to stay out of that situation. And one of the things too, guys, sometimes you get away from one situation and you find yourself in another situation of the same
Mm.
nature. What happens to a lot of women who tend to be in abusive relationship? They tend to move from abusive relationship to abusive relationship. So what I had to do, guys, I had to just take a break from relationships, right? Listen to me. Take a break. So even though there were pursuers, no, I'm not interested. That's all right. I'm not ready yet. I will focus. And I kept focusing on me, building Tamara, making Tamara Hylton a better person, right? So for me, guys, when God is ready, when that right person comes along, I will just be in the shape that God wants for me to be, to move on.
Uh, there's there's a church elder in one of the pastoral districts that my husband and I serve. When she hears something very powerful and soul stirring, she said, "Praise God,
Mhm,
Elder Nadine." And I just
mhm.
praising God for you.
Yeah,
Shereen says that is
right.
why. Yes, I'm sorry. Shireen says that is why it is so important to establish values and operate from them. If we stand for nothing, then we will
Mhm.
fall for everything. And I believe that's where you were at a point in your time where you're saying, you know what, I'm going to reassess me.
Yes.
I'm going to reassess me because I don't, what we find as you talk
Yes.
about women just substituting, moving from one abusive relationship to the
Exactly.
next, we
Another.
carry that victim mindset.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
the abusers, it's like they
Yes.
have this radar.
They can detect it.
They see it. They do it to children. They do it
Mhm,
to women. And
mhm.
you say,
Yes.
how is it that
Yes.
you're in one abusive
Yes.
relationship? It's like
Yes.
you start to. It's like your DNA. This is no way
Mhm,
scientific. This is just me using
mhm.
my layman term. It's like your whole chemistry
Right.
begins to change,
Yes.
and the
Mhm, mhm,
abusers recognize it. Oh
mhm,
Lord,
mhm. Yep.
have
Yep.
mercy.
Mhm.
You shared 7 powerful tips, copywritten
Wow.
Tamara
I get
Hylton.
all of those.
One, yes, one, distance. Talk truth. We're listing 7 talk truth treasures now. One
Mhm,
is distance. If you can't get it
mhm.
physically, at least start mentally and emotionally so that when it's time for
Mhm.
you to move physically, you are ready. Caution,
Right.
do not alert your abuser that you will leave because that may put your life in danger.
Mhm,
Two, focus on yourself. In
mhm.
essence, you deserve better. You
Yes.
can be better.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
Three, find a higher purpose. For
mhm.
you, Tamara, it was your son. You
Yes.
need to put this in a book, and I have it written down, so I'll send it to you.
You need to give me those points in writing.
Yes, find a higher purpose,
Yes.
which was her son. For some
Yes.
persons, it may be a relationship with God. It may
Yes.
be different things for different people.
Yes. Yes.
Four, there has to be a mindset change.
Mhm,
So many
mhm.
of us, for example, we want to increase our finances. We want to have better relationships. We want to have a deeper relationship with
Yes.
God, but our mindset is
Yes.
still in the wrong place. One of the worst things is to try and
Mhm.
convince someone who has a mindset that he or she is, you're not getting anywhere. You're not
Nowhere.
getting
Mhm,
anywhere. Not
mhm,
getting anywhere.
mhm,
And
mhm.
for a book, I saw it on your, these are the 2 books that you mentioned, Tamara.
Oh,
I
yes.
saw them on your status
Yes. Did you
and
get
I
them?
screenshot them and I got them. They're on my list for this
They're
week.
really good. They're
And
really
you
good.
read
And
Atomic
I
Habits as
recommend those
well?
two books for women. Powerful.
Yes. Did
And you
you
could
do
follow
Atomic
them on,
Habits?
pardon?
Did you do Atomic Habits?
No, I haven't done that one yet. You
Okay.
can
I'm
share that with me.
pleased.
Share that
I'm
with
doing
me.
that
Yes,
one now as you
yes,
talk
yes,
about shifting your mindset. Number
yes,
5, you need to have growth initiatives.
yes, yes.
Something that will cause you to come out of your comfort
Mm-hmm,
zone. For Tamara, it was education, it was
Yeah. And
exercise,
don't
it
forget
was
about my
moving.
album too. I went and did a recording. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes, you did, and
Yeah.
got an award for that,
Mhm.
the Gospel Award for that.
Oh,
And
yes.
you have been nominated. You
Mhm.
have been nominated for virtual. And
What
this
is
is
that?
also going to let it slide. No, I'm not going to let it slide. Right? I saw it. She has been
Yes.
nominated for Virtual Talk Show of the Year because she also has a talk show on her
Oh,
Facebook page,
wow.
and I allow her to talk about that as we close. The next thing, number 6, association.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have to shift
Mhm.
your association.
Mhm. Mhm.
Persons who are for you,
Mhm.
persons will not put status or
Mhm.
roles or
Mhm.
institutions over your self-worth.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then 7 is pause relationships.
Mhm.
Take
Mhm.
the time to assess who you are, what
Yes.
you value. So when
Mhm.
you delve in, you will not be settling for
Mhm.
mediocrity. Those
Mhm.
are your 7 points,
Yep.
Tamara.
Yep. Wow. And a part of that too is gonna be forgiveness. You know,
Mm,
yeah, you need to put that. Maybe you can tie it in with number 7. You know,
yes.
forgiveness of self, and also forgiving your partner. You have to forgive them for hurting you too, because I mean, or the whole thing about the whole bitterness, you can't carry that around if you're gonna move on, if you're gonna stay out, right? Because you know what a lot of people do, they try to get back at their abusers. And guys, I know because I've done it, I've been there. You try to get back and find some way to hurt this person more than they hurt you. It's not gonna work. So don't even try it. So you have to find some way to heal, recover, forgive, and just, become a better you. And you can do this, guys, only through Jesus Christ. Only God, not by might nor by power, but by the Spirit of God.
Amen. As we close, I'm hearing you say another talk through treasure. You're just dropping them like crazy on this show. Don't
Wow.
allow your abuser to make you become an abuser.
Exactly.
Uh,
Mm. Wow.
um, Sometimes we are tempted by how people treat with Tamara.
Yes.
Trust me. A true thing me talking.
Mhm.
Tempted because people can be
Mhm.
so wicked and
Yes.
selfish.
Yes. Yeah.
For those who are watching as we close off, and I
Mhm.
will ask Tamara to just talk about her album and her
Yes.
talk show as we close
Mhm.
off.
Mhm.
For those of you who are watching, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Amen.
That's
Mm.
one.
Oh,
And
yes.
2,
Mhm.
God has equipped his children with the expertise and the skills
Mhm.
to help you
Mhm.
through the trauma.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's a two-pronged approach. Tamara, talk to us about your talk show. Talk to us about your initiatives
Oh,
because you're
wow.
always going to do with something.
Oh, guys. It's just me, Tamara, just always doing something. So at the moment, I really just keep my Facebook page very active, doing regular lives and stuff like that. And we talk about just about anything, family, relationship, current issues and news and so on. So during the lockdown, we started the COVID-19 lockdown workout and talk session, which later on turned into the Tamara Hylton show, which is now just a workout and talk session again. We're starting at 6 a.m. in the mornings because of work. I'm back at work full time now from 8 to 2:40 in the evenings. So I can't do a show at 8:30 again in the morning. So like my friends in Canada and so on, I know you're missing out, right? But if you can wake up at 4 o'clock and join the workout, then hey, go ahead and do it. So I work out every morning, guys, because I'm big on health and fitness, and I believe that a part of your growth and your development and just you becoming a better person is making sure that you're enjoying good health. And one thing that we do, we just work out. We just do it for the fun. I mean, for me right now, I'm not working out just because I want to lose weight. I'm just working out so that I can stay fit. So 6 o'clock every morning on my page, and I just hit my 10,000 mark for the day. My watch started alarming there just now, right? So So 6 a.m. every morning, Monday to Fridays, that's what we do right there on my page. I have a session too on Sabbath afternoons called Praise Edition. And I tell you, man, it's just been going so well. Just every Sabbath afternoon, we just come together and praise and just worship God. And it's really been a blessing. So the album now in 2000, when was it? 2019. Man,
19,
it feels like it was so long
19.
ago. 2019, yeah, I launched my debut gospel album, My Story, My Song, A Journey of Grace. It's a collection of cover songs, right? So no original pieces are on it, but all the songs, they were put together. It's a compilation of songs that really helped me along this journey, talking about God's grace, God's unmerited favor, and that is only through God's grace why I am standing here today. Had it not been for grace, where would I be? So that's pretty much it. The albums are available. They're in CDs, but you know, I know a lot of people don't listen to CDs now, but I know you have a car and you have a CD player in it. You can pop it in and you can listen to it, because I don't have a CD player in my house. So I listen to my album in my car, right? I'm trying to get them on the different, what you call it now, platform, and so that persons could buy them from there. So we're working on that. But it's a beautiful album. It was recorded in Nashville, Tennessee, the same studio guys where they gave the vocal band do their recording. They win studio. That's where I did the recording. So it's of the highest quality. Even the graphic and everything, graphic designs and so on, it's just awesome. So you can't just have it just, for a souvenir, right? Because I know 10 years from now, you're going to say, man, I got our first album.
Yes,
So hit me up,
yes.
guys. Send me an inbox, hit me up on Facebook. And we can talk from there how you can order the album. They'll be shipped from out of the States, but you have to pay for it via PayPal. It's just $25 for one of the albums. So yeah. And I think my sister, she's the one who does the shipping. She's trying to do some specials right now where if you just pay for the CD, you get free shipping. It doesn't matter if you're in the States or in Canada, you get free shipping right now.
All right.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you
Uh,
so very much for being with us,
yeah,
Tamara. And
it's
as you
been a
know here,
pleasure.
we support each other.
Yes,
Again,
yes,
yes. So get the album, contact
mhm,
Tamara on her social media
yes,
platform. She is
mhm,
on Facebook, Tamara Hylton. Am I correct?
yes,
She's
Tamara
on
Hylton.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Instagram, Tamara Hilton Music. I think you're on Instagram,
yes,
right?
yes,
You see, I
yes,
got
yes,
it, girl.
yes,
You see,
yes,
someone
Tamara
genuinely
Hylton
support me.
music.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Once
talking, right?
you put
And
my name in, see my beautiful picture popping up, guys, and that's me right there.
and as we close off, as we are talking about health and fitness, check out
Mhm.
Tamara with her exercise program. And also, I have a link in the description box if you're interested in health products to just
Yes,
complement that exercise
yes.
and workout
Hmm.
and other
Hmm.
stuff. You can
Yeah, yeah,
definitely check out that link.
yeah,
And as we always say, this is your safe place and your
yes,
safe place. We
yes.
heal so much better when we
Hmm.
heal together. Remember to subscribe and share. I will see
Yes.
you the third week in February. Take care, guys.
Wow.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
guys. Awesome. Hey.
Well, he hasn't
Awesome.
ended the live, so we're waiting a little bit more. We're still on live.